Oh, what's up, GameLeapers? This is Eags, and in today's video, the 20 champions that are most broken right now for every single ELO. So this is across all ranks. This is every bit of data we have. This is in like millions of matches around the world, right? So we can't really go wrong, can we? These are going to be the 20 best guys, and I don't want any arguing, mate. Of course you can argue, it's not really going to be that accurate for every single ELO, but anyway, yeah, let's get into the fast food video. Oh yeah, just before we do, check out the GameLeap website, guys. I'm sick of saying this every single video. You guys are not going to improve by watching this video, so in the next 10 minutes, you're still going to be the same dummy you were at the start of this video, and so will I. I'm not going to learn anything. Maybe there might be some like surprising win rates and ban rates and, you know, number of matches, but why does that mean anything to your improvement? What will is actually learning the game fundamentally, right? Back timings, wave management, how you position in lane, how you space, counting cooldowns, all of these things are going to help you improve so much more. We have all the learning resources you need on our website at GameLeap.com. Get signed up, get exclusive access to our library of content, and yeah, let's get into the 20 champions. Coming in at number 20 is Miss Fortune. Played in close to 600,000 matches, and to have over a 51% win rate, S+ tier champion. Picked in almost 13% of games as well, and not really banned too much. She's a solid pick in most ELOs. Now, she does very well against a lot of bot laners, because lots of bot laners, AD carries, are immobile. So MF, especially if you're going something like Lethality MF, and we've talked about that build recently, where you can go like Dustblade, Axiomark. It's actually really fun to do and kind of toxic in a way. But yeah, bunch of builds for MF, even Krakenslayer Collector, right? Because Humax is, well, maybe objectively better than going like Lethality. But yeah, MF is number 20. Now, staying in the bot lane, number 19 is Vayne. And because of the buffs this patch in 13.6, Vayne has just been off chops in the last few days. And yeah, for Vayne, because your passive has received like just a 50% buff, that's kind of absurd. Your Q's dealing more damage, your W as well as dealing more damage early game, and you're maxing your Q first for the most part. And even though Lethal Tempo might have got nerfed, it's the same for every AD carry. So Vayne, you don't really have to worry too much about this. And yeah, Vayne does very well against a lot of champions because that's really just how her kit is. If you're playing her in the top lane, I'm sure it's the same thing. So Vayne is here, 10% pick rate, a bit less than MF, but she is banned more. So that's why she's a little bit higher, despite having a slightly lower win rate. Now moving into the jungle, one of the more popular junglers here at 8.2%, this is Wukong. So guys, if you need some sort of attack damage jungler and you need someone to dive into the enemy backline, Wukong is an excellent choice. He's still being pretty much picked and banned. Well, maybe not banned, but he's being picked a lot in pro play still, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see some sort of Wukong nerf in the near future because he's been picked for patches now at the highest level. But even across the board, right, in over 375,000 matches, to have close to a 52% win rate still in that many games, it goes to show how good the Monkey King is. Now heading back down to the bot lane, the next best AD carry according to the stats, coming in at number 17, we have Jhin, picked in close to 14% of matches, and he does have a higher win rate than Vayne and Miss Fortune, just above 51.2%. Now for Jhin, I don't actually think he's like that amazing of a champion at the moment, because there are just lots of AD carries who are maybe stronger, and his laning phase isn't really like scary enough to put pressure on those champions. But I guess the good thing for Jhin right now is the meta supports, right, who are engaged. And because it's Jhin, you like engaged champions, because it means you can land your Deadly Flourish, you can land your Curtain Calls. Of course, the Jhin on your team won't do any of that, but yeah, for Jhin, generally speaking, that is good news. So Jhin is number 17, pretty easy champion to pilot and make work, which also helps him. Now moving into the jungle for the next two picks, coming in at number 16 is the ultimate low elo champion, this being Master Yi. You can see this guy, even though he's probably not like the strongest jungler in the world right now, he's still banned in over 20% of games and still picked a lot, close to 9%. To have close to 400,000 matches, over a 50.3% win rate, the Wuju Blazeman has to be here. Now beating him to number 15 is another jungler who doesn't really pop off that much in higher elos, but I can see why he's so effective in lower elos, this being Nocturne, right? And for Nocturne, if you're going something like Stridebreaker, Gore Drinker, I don't know, like Eclipse, Dustblade, you've got a few builds there, and whatever build you go, it's just the fact that, yeah, lots of people aren't going to actually jungle against you properly when you play Nocturne, and you're still actually a very good early game skirmisher, so even if you do get invaded, it's not the end of the world. Point I'm making here, though, is you're going to get to level 6 most of the time for a charge. When you get to level 6, lots of laners just aren't aware of that timing. Lots of laners aren't aware of where you are on the map anyway if you're a jungler. So yeah, Nocturne, because you can really make use of just people making mistakes, he's number 15. Moving back to the bot lane. First support guys on this countdown is Lux. And for Lux, look at these stats for me. 15% pick rate, that's really high for a support. 16% ban rate, that's also really high. And if we think about it, why is Lux like picked this much? Because Caitlyn really isn't that good anymore. Caitlyn copped nerfs, right? Base armor, base AD went down, and her win rate has dropped like 2-3% because of it. And you're picking Lux really because of Kate. Of course, you can pick her trigger to counter enemy champions, right? You can even pick it with something like Lethality Varus, works very well. But yeah, in these lower elos, Lux to have close to a 51% win rate, and that's in close to 700,000 matches. And dear me, what are these people doing in lower elos? Guys, if you see a Lux picked, pick Blitzcrank or something. Pick something that's going to dive onto her, or just like outrange her, right? Maybe a Xerath is really good into her. Blitzcrank and Mumu, something that can really dive into her. That's what you want to pick against this champion. Stop letting her get away with murder, because it should not work like this. Moving to the top lane, number 13. The first top laner is Alawi. And for Alawi, ever since really like Riot buffed Black Cleaver, right? I know this is like for the majority of elos, and even if they didn't buff Black Cleaver in terms of the HP and AD a few patches ago, Alawi would probably still be here, because for lots of people, she's just really hard to play into, right? Because you can never really go into her as any champion. But there are some hard matchups, right? Those spell casting champions in the top lane. So look at the counter picks for me. Yorick with his E, Mordekaiser, because of your Q, she can never really pull you in. And when you press R, you take her out of all her tentacles. Teemo, range, Kayle, range, Vayne, range, Singe, you can kite, and Sion, because you're a spellcaster as well, right? So there are certain champions who do very well into Alawi. But because you're such a good split pusher, right? And because, like, yeah, you're going to get farmed pretty much in every single game, she can be a big nuisance to deal with. And she's number 13, banned in 16% of games as well, by the way. So clearly lots of top laners think she is one of those demons. Now, number 12, moving back down to the bot lane, and lots of AD carries here, by the way, guys. Now, coming in at number 12 is Samira. Even though she kind of got like hard nerf recently, I mean, they kind of like semi-reverted her passive, right? But she's still like spinning around like a Beyblade and one-shotting everyone and getting pentakills more than any other champion. And yeah, that's why she's banned in over 22% of games still. Even if like statistically she did get worse, it's just that people feel as if this champion, the Desert Rose, is still too strong and has too much counterplay against too many champions in the bot lane. It's kind of lucky that you have Xayah, who kind of wrecks this champion, who's strong right now, and there are other champions, ranged champions like Jinx might do well into her, right? Because Samira should never really be able to like jump onto you unless you're playing against like an Amumu or something. Really comes down to the support there. But yeah, Samira is here regardless of what I say. These are what the stats say: a 7.3% pick rate, and to have over a 50% win rate, she's number 12. Now number 11 is another support who we don't really see too much in higher elos. You know, you might see her pick specifically into something like a Thresh, into a Blitzcrank, right? But Morgana in lower elos, like look at the number of matches for me. 371,000 matches. Now, not every single one of these games is Morgana being picked into a Thresh or a Blitzcrank, right? Some people are just going to be picking her just to play Morgana. They won't be thinking about the team composition. So it really just, again, goes to show how good this champion is, because even if you do pick her and it's a bad matchup bot lane, because of your Black Shield, it's such a strong spell. You land one Dark Binding, your ultimate's really good against close quarter teams, right? And lots of teams right now are going to be engaged teams, because that's just how the meta is right now, right? So Morgana is a very good champion, and just an excellent champion to have in your support pool. She has over a 50% win rate, and she's number 11. Now moving into the top 10, we're moving back into the jungle here, and even though Ram got nerfed, Rammus the Armadillo is here at number 10, a 53.17% win rate at the moment anyway, and he's banned in over 10% of games. Now I don't know why this champion is banned this much. Well, I kind of do. It's because people don't know how to jungle against him properly. Or if you see a Rammus, please try to pick AP champions, yeah, because he's all about armor, funnily enough, being called the Armadillo. But yeah, Rammus is here because he can just punish pretty much any mistake you make quicker than anyone else. You know, Nocturne at level 6 is the same vibe. So Rammus being here kind of makes sense. I think he's a lot worse than what he was, and you should be able to play against him if you know how to jungle properly, which we can teach you on our website, I've coached junglers to rank 1 EUS, sign up, learn the knowledge. Now, number 9 is Veigar mid lane. Veigar bot lane is also on this countdown. Spoiler alert, he's number 6. But yeah, Veigar in the mid lane, I don't even know why I gave that away. But yeah, Veigar in the mid lane, guys, because you counter so many champions, and it's not even mid lane. Like, I don't care if you're against Aurelion Sol, something at range, right? Like maybe a Ziggs or a Xerath, something you can jump onto you and ruin your day, like a Katarina who can avoid your cage. I don't care. You are going to counter lots of champions the enemy team picks. You could be against a Katarina, but you could be against a Samira and like an Alistar bot lane. All you have to do is just drop your cage around them. You might be against a very close range top laner and jungler. Like they might have maybe a Wukong. They might have something like a Darius top, right? These champions, you just put your cage around them, they're kind of screwed, right? This is the power of Veigar. Also going something like Everfrost, you have Crown of the Shattered Queen as an option, right? This champion is still very good in the mid lane, but you have to pick him into the right circumstances, right? So if they have a bunch of range, please don't pick Veigar. Anyway, guys, moving on to number 8, we have the newest champion on the Rift, this being Milio. And for Milio to have over a 22% pick rate, 24% ban rate, even after he got hotfix nerfed, this bad boy is still popping off, and that's in over 1 million matches. He is one of 2 champions on this list with over 1 million matches, and yeah, over a 50.3% win rate. He's got to be here, right? I just recommend, again, because this dude is an enchanter, try to pick something that can catch him out like a Blitzcrank, or just keep him at range. Vel'Koz, Center would do really well, right? Seems really free. Center into any enchanter is really good. So think about picking them into Milio. Now moving back to the top lane, I talked about this counter pick as a counter to Alawi. This is Mordekaiser. Now in higher elos, he does struggle because people have their monitors turned on and they move laterally. Lots of people in lower elos just move backwards and forwards. The stats here, 8.3% pick rate, a 52% win rate, and he's banned a lot, which again, top laners think this dude is just annoying to go against. He's hard to beat. Yeah, that kind of makes sense that he's number 7 here. Now, number 6, I kind of gave it away. This is Veigar, right, in the bot lane, guys. And in the bot lane, even though you got nerfed this patch in terms of your base HP, your base armor went down, but here's the thing. Your base armor can be 0. Like, I'm being serious. Your base armor can be 0. You can still be the best AP carry bot lane champion, maybe even best bot lane champion in the game, because your W's range and Q range got buffed a few patches ago. This means you can farm safely. You're not going to get hit by anything. It doesn't matter if your base armor is nerfed by like 3 or 5 or 7 or 10, whatever they want to do to you. Doesn't matter. Baby Gandalf can stay at range and Q and stack and scale effectively. Also, the engage meta is amazing for Veigar. Like I said, close range fighting. That's what this guy wants. Veigar bot lane. Definitely think about having him in your champion pool. Now, this champion, if you are an AD carry, should be in your pool regardless. This is Jinx, regardless of what the enemy team picks, that is. And yeah, for Jinx, over a 23% pick rate, 51.4% win rate. She's number 5. I'm kind of surprised she's not actually high with these stats. So yeah, and that's in over 1 million matches as well. So Jinx is number 5, guys. If you don't have her in your champion pool, like I just said, you're trolling, bro. Now, number 4, staying in the bot lane, the best support, guys, across every single elo. And we even talked about him recently in the top 10, like, Korean champions in high elo. This is Blitzcrank, and Blitzcrank has a 26.6% ban rate. In the other video about the top 10 Korean champions in high elo, Blitzcrank had close to a 50%. He's actually banned more in Korean high elo than he is in, like, bronze, silver, NA, EUS, etc. That just speaks volumes to how, like, kind of annoying this champion is. He counters so many champions. Like, if you're a support, you're probably going to think, oh, Blitzcrank counters me. And the next support thinks, oh, Blitzcrank counters my champions. He just does so well against so many things, right? If it's an enchanter, if it's something like a Thresh, right? You get hooked once, you're just going to get blown up. Really annoying to play against, so I can see why he's banned a lot. Awesome champion to have, guys, in your pool to counter pick and punish those guys who are just blind picking supports without thinking about the crack. Now, number 3, Malphite, top lane. Now, whether you're maxing your W first or whether you're maxing your Q with Comet, don't really care, to be honest. Get a Frostfire Gauntlet. You're going to one-shot people with just auto attacks now because the buffs that came into your W. And for Malph, that's really been it, guys. He does very well against a lot of champions, right? Just be careful about picking this guy if they have a lot of AEP on their team, because you're picking Malphite, kind of like Rammus, for armor. If you're against something with attack speed or just attack damage in the top lane, you're going to do very well. But against tanky champions, you can see here the counter picks like Mundo, like Sion, like Mordekaiser, Singed, Ornn, Cho'Gath. Most of these are AP, and a champion especially like Silas, you're going to get dumpstered, bro. But yeah, he'll still work. In close to 500,000 matches, over a 52, close to 53% win rate, pick rock solid this patch. Number 2 is J4, 52.7% win rate. Very close to Malphite in terms of pick rate as well, 10.7, close to 500,000 matches. This dude is kind of insane right now. Even though they nerfed his W, right, so in terms of the cooldown and the AD scaling, hasn't really, like, meant anything for J4 because the buffs a few patches ago were too big, and yeah, we're seeing him picked a lot in pro play again, and he's just dominating solo queue across the board. So he is the number 1 jungler and the number 2 champion overall, but he is bested by the number 1 champion in the game, and that is despite nerfs that came in, well, I don't even know, like the last, what, 2-3 patches to Aurelion Sol. This guy has a 40% ban rate in every single elo, guys. He's 100% going to get nerfed again. Like, there's no way Riot are going to allow a champion to have a 40% ban rate and over a 51.5% win rate. It is just not healthy for the game, nor the people playing Aurelion Sol. Like, you guys who are playing Sol before these changes, I kind of feel sorry for you because it's hard to pick him now without him being banned so much. But yeah, he is the number 1 champion, guys, according to the data that we have in 13.6 thus far. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you did enjoy this fast food video, please leave a like down below. Any questions, any thoughts, leave them in the comment section. And until our next Season 13 upload, this is Phoenix. Peace.